Here we go. And welcome everybody to the Fandom Zone. It is I, General Zod, and today we have a great discussion about Power, the final season, season 6, the end, the the end of a legacy journey, the Who Done It season. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a bunch of great stuffs, but you know, some creative running monologue. But before I get started, I have with me Comic Chat. Welcome for the first time to the Fandom Zone. How you doing today?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you inviting me. Uh, I'm definitely interested. Love power. Um, I've been hooked ever since the first time I watched it. A coworker told me about it, and I'm definitely trying to figure out who shot Ghost. I got my suspicions, but I haven't quite got the evidence to back up my suspicions yet. But I'm definitely on the trail.
you're putting the pieces together.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards Tate. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
that's who I'm leaning towards.
and I've been kind of 50-50 on who it is exactly. Myself. Um, I thought it was him, but there were some things that I caught that had kind of make me then backtrack on that. So, um, my only hopes is that it's something clever. I'm hoping it's not anything
Yeah. I hope it's clever. I
like
hope it's only reason I'm leaning towards Tate because he has a skill set being a former law enforcement cop of the attorneys or cops radar as so that's what I'm leaning towards just on those 2 points. And I don't think no one really knows his motive for hating Ghosts besides Ghost and Ramona.
yes, that's very true. I've also gone with a possibility, and I know me and Perp talked about it, of someone we haven't even seen, someone
That's
we don't
possible.
know yet,
That's possible.
because they did set it up to where those people were trying to kill Tommy and Ghost, that the older gentleman, that when they were shooting at them, and they shot back inside, and they found that
Mhm.
older dude, and Tommy had fled to, I guess, go after them, and everyone was saying, it's Tommy, and I'm like, I don't think it's him. I
For all
Because
we know,
I
it could be those Armenians whenever he killed off Dimitri. So it could have been
yeah.
them, and then it could have been um enemy we lost track of. We don't. I mean, so far as we know, I can't think of what was the attorney, ghost attorney that got killed. Um,
uh oh yeah.
Proctor.
Proctor, yeah.
Proctor's cousin that Tommy killed could have had something in place. If I don't come back or something don't happen to me, then you take out Ghost Tommy, whatever. I mean, we don't know.
Now, see, that's another good possibility I didn't think about, but it'll be interesting to see which way it goes. So before we like dive into the um the breakdown of episode 12, um first, let's just kind of, for anyone who may be coming in, anyone in the chat, just heads up, this is going to be a spoiler talk of episode 12. So it's already been out. If you've seen it, then come on down, we'll theorize, we'll break it down. If you haven't seen it, then hop off really quick, go watch the episode, come back and enjoy us again. But I like to do a quick recap. So we found out the last episode that uh, the person that we thought would be responsible, Dre, which kind of knew it wouldn't be him, we found out that he was not responsible, and as a matter of fact, he was roasted alive, which I thought was a particularly interesting stream, or scene. And hello, Tommy. Tommy like sidetracked me because he said I got a lot of streams going at the same time. Thank you, Tommy, for popping in. But so they thought, they eliminated Dre yesterday. So, what did you think? Because you weren't on the channel for this review, and I'm kind of waiting for Perp before I start jumping into everything that happened. So, what did you think of the episode before that? What were your feelings about?
At first, I thought I was like seeing a repeat. I was like, this shouldn't be the next show. This should be. I thought I was going to see ghosts on the floor and somebody trying to come to him, but then I finally realized, yes, this is the new episode, but it's from this particular character's point of view. So that was interesting to me. First of all, I can't stand Dre, so when they finally got him in the end, I was extremely happy. It was poetic, the two that got him, because he's always seen the wiggle. He's seen he's like Bizarro's to Superman. Ghost is Superman, and he's Bizarro. He always seems to get out of stuff just like Ghost, but on the reverse way of stuff. Ghost will do stuff to outsmart, but he'll do stuff to kill or do something that's sidewinded or crazy. So they kind of remind me of the different sides of the same coin. Just I'm Team Ghost, not Team Dre. And like I said, I was very happy to see him finally get his, because he always seemed to get out of stuff and kill somebody or do something, and always seemed to have 9 lives. So I was glad the directors finally pulled the trigger on taking him out.
Yeah, because he was always, and I did like the aspect. My favorite aspect probably of the episode was the fact that it kind of showed the noose tightening around him. Mm-hmm. And I was saying this last week. I really appreciate when a show can have that kind of like really unsettling feeling of like, someone like, the walls are closing in. And
this creator and writer of this show, I don't know where she get her content from, because some of the stuff she comes up with is firsthand knowledge, or maybe she had a family member that was a drug dealer, or she researched them or studied them or something. But a lot of her stuff is really, really on point, and the way she come with these different things just makes it like think, man, is she in this lifestyle? I mean, how does she know all this? But it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining.
Yeah. And welcome, Fights the Zombies. Glad to have you here. We are having our power discussion. So when I was going back through this episode, now my only issue has been, and I think I agreed with Perp, is the policing is one of my issues with this show. Like, I feel like the cops don't function, and it's not because of anything clever. Like the first couple of seasons, I could see where they got away with stuff. I felt like that's been one thing that's been kind of a convenience with the writing, is that like with the cops in particular. Okay, for instance, like with Dre, I do not know any federal if you were being transported by federal marshals per se, I don't know anyone that would stop and pull over by an abandoned building and just let, their suspect, and they didn't even like stay with him. They kind of like let him have a little bit of, and I was like,
yeah,
some like gaudy.
That's a little bit of lazy writing, and I can speak on that firsthand because I'm a cop in real life. And I can tell you, we don't do that.
So you have that perspective, because I was dying, because I'm watching this and I go, if I and you are, so you must pick out a lot of stuff with those.
Yeah. Like, what's really crazy is how Sachs just totally like how he gave that illegal tap to the little girl, put it on her bag, and the way they manipulate people. I mean, the only way in real life that law enforcement can manipulate somebody if they got a suspect and they think he did it and they have certain facts, then they can kind of lie about those facts to get a confession. That's the only time law enforcement can lie. They have you in custody and they make you believe something, or you've seen on some shows how they have two suspects and they have one room that make it look like they saying something or signing something, be a little
Mm-hmm.
deceptive. We allowed to do that, but on the street, you going at you gotta tell the truth. Why you being charged? This, that, and the other. Once you get down to interrogation, then sometimes the rules change a little bit. But the way Sachs is doing stuff, totally crazy. I did not like that. How it portrayed law enforcement.
Yeah, and I think that it was. I think that it wasn't necessarily even just a statement about law enforcement in general, as much as just it felt like some poor writing, and that bugged me because one of the with the first, especially the first couple of seasons of Power, has had like very tight writing, and I felt like kind of coming to this final arc or the final season, I feel like they've written it in such a way where sometimes the plot doesn't allow them to uh, they come across a situation where the plot won't allow them to advance that character. That's what I feel like with Dre going back and forth. I felt like it was a situation like, oh well, we need him to escape, but how can we get him to escape? Like one of those deals.
I think that the way they wrote the story is that, um, and this is how some cops unfortunately get caught up in real life. They see this crook and this lifestyle, and they see he seems to always get over, or he gets a high-dollar lawyer and always gets out on some kind of loophole, and he's living a lifestyle. He's doing this. He's got the women. He got this, that, and the other. They get tired of that, especially when they compare it to their life, and especially in Sachs and in most of the DAs that got killed, or ADAs, whatever the hell they call themselves. That's what got them caught up. They were so obsessed with trying to get Tommy and Ghost that the lines blurred. You can't let the lines blur, and I think that's what I saw progress as seasons went from 1 to 6. That they start off straight, but this guy keep beating them on every turn. He'll return every turn. Then that's when they start doing crookedy stuff. In particular, um, the character, the female detective from NYPD, Blanca. I think that's her name. I can't think. Whatever.
Yeah, Blanca.
I can't stand her. But she
Oh no,
came in there. She came in there so high and mighty, so by the book. But she got connected with what's the guy now? I just called his name.
Sax.
Sachs. And then she started compromising. She went there and made a deal with Dre. She know good and well Dre did not see Ghost kill Terry. Because he said, yeah. Also, he came back to the apartment. She mean, don't you mean the garage? Yeah, the garage. Yeah, yeah. I'll say whatever you want me to say. She knew good and well that wasn't the right thing to do. But Ghost had done beat her so much, and Tommy, she doggone crossed the line. And the same thing happened with the bald headed D that just got fired. He told her to get out of his office because she was doing the wrong thing. And then when the guy come in there and talk a little static to him, and he got pissed off and his ego got in the way, he went and did the very same thing he was chastising her about. So
Yeah, it's like I understand the dynamics. I just think when they do the cop storyline,
mhm.
they tend to kind of it's not as fine tuned as the gangster side of things. Like I
No,
feel like when you're watching the gangster side of things, like they got a real good beat on that. But some of the cop storylines just kind of fall through the
I,
cracks.
I think that's just a reflection of society. A lot of people don't like cops because they think they're crookedy or perverse, whatever, and they're capitalizing on that because I'm a cop, but I'm cheering for Ghost. I'm wanting Ghost to win when I'm able to differentiate reality from the show because of course in the real world, no. But on this show, they building up Ghost so much that you want to see him succeed and you want to see him come out on top. And I think they're writing that intentionally, and that's why it seems maybe lopsided to you. But this is most of the. If you ever watch The Shield, if you haven't watched that,
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite shows. I still say that
The
had the
Shield is
best
very
ending
similar to
ever.
this. Another show I love, and I compare this guy to Ghost, Sons of Anarchy. If you ever watch
Yep.
Jax, to me, Jax Taylor and Ghost are the same. Highly intelligent, very can be very violent. If you look at them from the outside in, they don't seem as violent as they are, but whenever they flip that switch, then of course Jax killed his own mother and his stepfather. So I mean, what does that tell you? So I mean, these shows, man, they the writers, I think they intentionally pull you in and make you cheer for the bad guy because I mean that's just the way society is now, and it's unfortunate.
I think the show that did the law enforcement the best was Breaking Bad. That was my all-time favorite show.
I've
And
seen some of that. I haven't seen the whole thing, so I can't really comment on that. I've seen like bits and pieces of it. I wasn't investing as much as I was the Shield and Sons and now Power. But
oh yeah,
I've heard
definitely.
Breaking Bad was awesome.
Oh yeah, if you ever get a chance, that was kind of along the same lines because the
Yeah,
brother-in-law was DEA, and it was hilarious watching him going after Heisenberg, and he wasn't realizing he was chasing his brother-in-law.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, they had a very crazy dynamic, and like it was pretty cool how they did that, but they never made them seem incompetent. Just they made him more blind because of the fact that
He
when you're
didn't think
chasing
it.
family,
Yeah,
it's like you don't. Sometimes people don't see what they only see what they want to, but they
yeah.
don't see what's in front of them,
I
kind
can
of a
see that.
deal.
I can see that dynamic.
So, you know, yeah, it was interesting and I think that I never really liked the character of Dre that much. I'm kind of like 50-50 on him, but I gotta say, like that episode was the best episode um that I've seen Dre in. Like
Yeah,
the emotions and everything else like that. I thought that the actor he played that character,
he did.
especially now, really good.
He did.
Really,
He's gonna go down as one of the all time most hated villains in TV history. I believe that.
yeah,
A
like
show 5, 6, 7 years now, if they start naming famous villains on TV shows, I definitely expect to see Dre on there because I hated him.
oh
And
yeah,
believe it or
yeah.
not, the other than Ghost, my next favorite character was Kanan. I
Everyone loves Kanan. I
I
I
was
love Tommy. That's my
man,
guy right there.
I was hurt when Kanan got killed because Kanan was like the gasoline to the show. Whenever the plot got kind of slow or whatever, they throw Kanan in there, man, and he makes some kind of make something like what he did this. I can't the way he turned Tyreek and stuff, man. Now I'm tell you what I didn't like, and I don't know how they dropped the ball. I wish they'd come back to it. That girl that Tyreek befriended when he was at Choke,
Yeah.
and
She
she turned him in. I want to know who she's working for.
yeah, it seemed like she was a competitor. It,
Yeah,
it,
and she
it
got him out of the way. But I want to know who she was working for. I think she's working for Sonny.
that's an interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I know that there's we're down to what, five suspects, and there's you know I'm adding it up. There's three episodes left and five people, so clearly they got to double up
Yeah,
on an episode.
And I
And I don't
definitely
think
think Ghost is still alive.
I see. I don't. I think that I
Mm-mm.
think it would be smarter to have him dead because it has more impact.
Ghost is alive, and the reason why I know it because the way that guy from the Democratic Party came in there and threw his weight around, I'm willing to almost bet Ramona got goes somewhere till you get healed up and get and protecting them and doing all that stuff because she was fully invested in Ghost.
Yeah, but I mean, like he got shot in the chest and fell off of a banner. I mean, I
Man,
only
it
know
don't.
one person who did that, John Wick, and John Wick, I'm pretty convinced is not human. So,
Man, it's probably you sunk in your 20s. Is that right?
no, actually, I am. I'm in my 30s.
Okay, sorry, but you remember Dallas?
Yes,
You
yes, I
remember the
do.
big thing? Who shot Jr.
Shot that who shot Jr. Yep, and I
This is
feel like
this
that.
is this is Dallas rewrapped.
I think it's I think when I seen the premise too, I was like, it's interesting and it'll be interesting to see how they do it. And so far, I like it. So I guess we can start to kind of get into the episode 12 right now. Um, and
Yeah,
I'll get
Perp must
Perp's
be
take.
ran into something.
Yeah, I'll get his take on it because he has a different time zone than me. So
I got you.
uh, yeah, 10 should have been now because he's on that Jersey time, and they're an hour ahead of me. I'm in Wisconsin, so
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina, so we on the same time.
oh, oh, cool, cool. So that
Mm.
works out good. So, um, we get to episode 12 now, and I gotta say, I'm gonna get your take, but my quick hot take on it was so slow, and I hate Paz. I've always hated her character, like not in a Dre way, just I hate her in the show. I think she's a pointless character, and I don't know why she gets a whole episode. And I felt like this was so slow, and like the only big things were pretty much the last few scenes.
Did you watch Power Confidential?
No, no, not yet. I'm going
Okay.
to.
It shows it also. I got stars and I got Dish Network, so it shows the episode early and it shows Confidential early. And I watched Confidential, and the main reason why they said on Confidential is because she's really the only person other than Ghost that can tie in some loose ends with Angela's. So that's and they wanted to kind of bring back some of the Angela memories and stuff. So that's what they brought her. I listened. I heard a lot of people, yourself, Perp, another good friend of mine that watched it earlier too, and they were saying they didn't like this episode, but I liked it because I like learning backstories about stuff and see how the stuff connect. One thing I enjoyed is that I didn't know that she was wearing a wire when she was talking to Ghost the first time we saw it. But then it shows that she's wearing a wire. It shows why she did this. It shows why she betrayed Angela's name and had her dug up to get that phone. How that didn't come to anything. So I enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoy seeing the bald headed guy get fired because he was told to leave this alone. Because I'm Team Ghost, so I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed how the fact that Tasha had to break it down to her and say, "Look, Ghost didn't kill your sister. Ghost loved your sister more than anybody else. Tommy was the one that did it, and it made her look stupid and foolish." So I enjoyed. One thing I didn't like was her son. I like her son less than I like her. He was getting on my damn nerves, worrying about college and stuff, and he can't do this, he can't do that. So he really was a pain in my ass. But as far as the pause episode, would I rather seen a different character more important to the show than Paz? Yeah, but I wasn't mad at this episode. I learned a lot. So
No, no. See, like when I do a review, I like to break down as far as story wise. I think is just as important as anything else, right? How does a story flow? How does it connect? Like my problems, like I like to use Star Wars as a point of reference, the new Star Wars,
hmm
and like when I debate someone about the Last Jedi and why it's such a fucking terrible movie is because I'm a big story guy. And when you see a schism in the writing, it ruins the rest of the connectivity. Like, and with this season, I gotta say, I don't see a break in the flow. It's more of okay, we're down to 4 episodes, and I understand that like you're laying down the groundwork. I even understand having like a perspective from Angela. But first off, I never liked Angela as a character. I thought she held Ghost back, and I liked him better without that chain on him. And then, and two, I felt like she was annoying when she was in the scenes with Angela. So her getting a whole episode, I'm like, this is just like feels like a way to like just waste an episode. Like I did like the wiring scene. I like seeing that. Oh yeah, she was actually wired talking to him, and that's why. Because I thought that that whole scene was weird by itself, and now we have more context. So it's like, oh okay. Because I'm like, she forgave him awfully fast, and then when they replay the scene, I'm like, oh okay. So now that makes sense. Like it does. The thing, and I told Perp this, the thing that I like about these episodes are seeing them from other perspectives. They do seem to fill in things on that final episode that were
They
kind of
do.
all over the place.
They do.
So I appreciate that from a story perspective. I just thought, like, at this point in the game, you got 3 episodes left. Why are we slowing down the pace? Everything should be like, boom, getting
But
ready to.
but are you just saying that and feeling that way because you don't like the particular character?
I'm not gonna lie. I do have my biases. I've been waiting for Tommy's episode
Yeah.
forever. And
See,
I'm like,
Tommy, you gonna eat up like catnip, but pause. You like, come on. But man, you gotta. We just had a discussion about this yesterday on one of my streams. Man, as a cop, man, sometimes you gotta sift through the boring stuff and look at the boring stuff, but sometimes that boring stuff will lead you to what you want to get to. And sometimes that boring stuff, as boring as it may seem, as slow as it may seem, you can learn some valuable stuff. Because when they did the Confidential, which I wish you check out, they tell why that they film each one of these shows they're filming now. It's in some parts it's the same episode we saw in the last episode where Ghost got shot, but they got a whole different script. So some of the things they said in that episode, they're saying a little differently now in this episode because it's from a different perspective. So I like that. And then sometimes when they may have said this particular line in that episode, they're saying something similar but not quite the same because she said, I noticed these lines are different. They say, yeah, that's because we're showing the audience from a different perspective and how the individual character is seeing it. So I like the way they're doing that. I think that's kind of dope. I haven't seen many shows do that before. So I don't have
I
no
haven't
issue
either.
with that. I want to see. I definitely want to see Tommy's perspective. I want to see Tyreek. I hate that little punk.
Oh, me, Perp, everyone agree. I can't stand
Yeah,
Tyreek. I
I
think
want to see his perspective, and I want to see Tasha. But I'm thinking Tate did it, man. I just think he's the trigger man. So those 4, who I want to see.
Grim Monolith, welcome, man. And yes, I will review the Blacklist. I'm waiting to watch the newest seasons, but that's my show right there. And Tony Brown, welcome to the channel. Good to have you here. Yeah,
That's my buddy. We work together.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, he's a big.
He's
He the one that put me on Power. I wasn't watching at first, but then he put me on it, and I'm like, man, this short here is what's up. So
we got someone in the chat who likes the show. This will be
interesting. Tony watched it just as much as I do. But he probably watched it last night too, because he usually watch it on Saturday nights. But
yeah, so we got the episode just kind of to break things down and set up. This episode is from Paz's perspective. It starts out backtracking the day with as they all do with the announcement of Ghost running, and her trying her hardest to get someone to indict this man, do something. Um, and everyone's kind of like, they don't want to touch him over at the DA's office because they already went that route and lost. No one wants to seem to go after him. She's getting pretty desperate. There is some things that I do like. I like the fact of, if there's one thing I do like about this episode, I like her character development. I can't really knock the character development. I think that, throughout this episode, she's always been an annoying moral center to me. Like,
I agree. I agree.
she's like that person who comes in and, like, when you watch her throughout the seasons, at first she seems like that naggy preachy friend who you're like, man, you're not living my life, so you're kind of like on the outside looking in, telling me I should do this and that. But to see her struggle, and like to see her doing the right thing, like if there's anyone out of this list of people, she's the only one who cares about trying to go about things the right way. Like, every character jumps immediately to the other side because they're so frustrated, and she's frustrated time and time again.
Two
And she does have those doubts, but she always stays morally centered, and I did appreciate that.
two things about her I did not like. First of all, she ain't nothing but a damn mooch.
Yeah.
She talking all that junk about Angela and Ghost not good for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. They treat Angela kind of like she's the cash cow or the golden goose because she said in this episode, Angela is why we have this support apartment. Probably Angela probably bought that Charger she's driving for. And Angela's sending her nephew or her son to school. And that's all he seemed to be worried about. How are we going to live? How are we going to do this? Yada, 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 yada. The second thing on that by pause is that no matter how upset I would been, I would never ever disgrace my family after they're dead. And by letting them exhume the body and give them that phone, and they were able to find out that she did in fact have a hand in helping Ghost. Now her name, all her accomplishments, everything is down the drain. They're not going to get the money that they needed, which is secondary. But I wouldn't have done. I don't think I'd have done that to my sister. In fact, I know I would have done it to my sister, even if I heard any kind. I'm not. If she died and she still had a good name and a good reputation, I would have let it lay like that. But she was so
And
caught up
I
in
don't
her.
think,
Go ahead.
yeah, I agree. I don't think I would have gone that far. I don't think, I don't think most people would have been, but I do respect the fact that in this show she's had sort of this like preaching angle, right? And I do like the fact that, one, she didn't come to that decision very easily. It wasn't like, oh, she just did it like right away. She even, like, basically compromised what she believed, putting that phone in the casket. But then she's like, you know what? I can't say that I want to do things the right way, and then, let a piece of evidence die, even if it makes my sister look bad. She's trying to be this, where it's like, I got to do what's right, do things the right way.
Uh, uh,
And the thing I appreciated was it showed that sometimes doing things the right way, like we saw how that was going to play out. You're going to drag her name through the mud, and you're probably not going to get them right. So
mm-hmm,
what's the point? Just let the dead lie and leave their
mm-hmm.
reputation. But it was kind of interesting to see the fact that she was willing to do that, and that out of everyone, the one running theme in Power is about power, right? Money and everything else like that. At this point, she doesn't care about the money. And at a certain point, especially when we get to the end, and we'll talk about that, where she had a chance to kill Ghost, she could have easily shot him. She could have shot him right there and killed him. But I think that really, like, did for me cement her character. Now, if I go back and I watch older episodes, be like, you know what? Her preaching doesn't bother me as much, because at least, like, they showed the struggle within her, because there was a very clear struggle there. And,
But I think the struggle was generated more so from her son than her, because The same way she went in there with the intent to kill Ghost, she was able to remember things that people said, what Tommy said, what Tasha said, whatever, and she chose not to kill him. But because she was driven by revenge and she was hurt, it didn't take much for her and her son nudging. She went in there and pretty much destroyed her sister's name. And I just don't think I'd do that.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone would really do that. I mean, you have those certain kind of family members, but I think that she represents more of, because in these different perspectives, right? We got like the drug dealer's perspective, the streets perspective, the cop perspective. I think she is more of the bystanders, and I think that that's the thing, is that Ghost himself is the best I can describe him as like a freaking hurricane, and everything that's in that man's path is destroyed. Like everything, even if he wants love, no matter what gets into the path of Saint Jamie,
Yep.
that tornado comes through and wrecks lives. And Paz is probably the most like, for me, she's like the representation of the working class, the mother trying to put her son through college, that kind of deal. And he's even destroyed that, someone who really doesn't have a stake, like other characters do.
He destroyed it on the front end, but on the back end, he tried to make it right. But her pride wouldn't let her take the money until she found out that it was Tommy and not Ghost to kill.
But at the same point, though, Tommy wouldn't have killed Angela if it wasn't for Ghost, and Ghost killing Tommy's father, which spurred him to get back at him the only way he knew that would really hurt him.
Yeah, but
and that was through Angela.
That point, I'll give you that. But Tommy, the reason why Ghost killed Tommy Daddy, because it was self-preservation.
Oh yeah,
he was gonna save Tommy and destroy Ghost. Ghost tried to tell Tommy. Now the Ghost was wrong. He should have told Tommy and said, "Hey, look, I know there's your dad, but this is what's going down. Now, if you don't handle it, I'm gonna handle it." He should have gave Tommy that respect, but he didn't, because he does his Ghost things, and in some aspects of his character, he's selfish. But at the end of the day, it was Toretti or Ghost. So I'm not mad at Ghost for pulling the trigger. He shouldn't have been so sneaky about it and made Tommy seem like something else happened. Him and Tommy are supposed to be boys, but that's just the dynamic of Ghost. Ghost always thought he was smarter and smoother than Tommy. In some aspects, he was, but
in other aspects, though, Tommy's a man. I love Tommy, but I think he's like he's underestimated even by Ghost, and people underestimate Tommy to their detriment.
That's true.
As much as
Tommy is volatile though, erratic. That's what makes him dangerous, but also what makes him make stupid mistakes. I think Ghost is more methodical and can see the bigger picture. Tommy is about, I explain chess. Some chess players can see 2 or 3 steps, or 2 or 3 moves ahead of them. The great ones can see 5 or 6 or more. To me, Ghost is a great gangster. Tommy is a good gangster.
Yeah, see, I in the beginning of the show felt that way until I saw that Tommy may not be able to play at the level of chess, but see, James's great weakness is that he knows he's smart, and sometimes he's too clever for his own good. He does do those moves, but he never thinks about the repercussions of those moves, because a lot of his moves involve positioning people without their knowledge, like several times.
I don't know.
You can only burn your bridges for so long. I mean, look at that last episode, even the title where he's like, no one can, it was called something like "No One Can Touch Me" or something.
Yeah. Now
he was so arrogant.
Now he was smelling himself. And he was feeling himself on that. I can't deny that. I even made a comment to my boy Tony. I said, "Man, Ghost is full of himself, boy." But there was one episode, I mean, one season, I think it was when they had Heffy, I can't think his name, but the big guns was after Ghost and Tommy, and they had made Tommy and that girl was trying to kill Ghost. That whole season, Ghost was kind of on the run. Tommy was contemplating, man, that I kill Ghost. I don't want to kill Ghost, but it's me or him. And I think his girlfriend with the redhead girl, her name was Holly. But at the end of the season, they showed how Ghost took care of all that stuff. Nobody saw that coming. Ghost put on the mask. He killed this person, this gang. And to me, man, that was just genius.
Oh no, that's probably one of my favorite seasons of Power, and probably one of my favorite scenes of the show, because I didn't even see it, because I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
when he
who's
takes the
randomly
mask
taking these
off and
people out?
you see Ghost and he took out all of their enemies. Man, I was like, man, Ghost to man. If Ghost and Tommy work together, they are unbeatable. But
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 yeah,
Ghost is
but
Ghost is Batman and Tommy is Robin. Who you gonna beat? Who you gonna call when the shit hit the fan? Batman or Robin?
yeah, but Robin became Nightwing.
Okay, but see, Nightwing can't touch Batman. Uh, uh,
At the end
he,
of the day, everyone needs their Grayson.
oh, I'm with you that Ghost is stronger with Tommy than without. But the writers are not gonna let them get back together. I wish they would. I love Ghost and Tommy. I don't love Ghost versus Tommy because I like some of Tommy weaknesses and strengths. I mean strengths, but I love Ghost strengths, and together they're better. But if I got to pick, I'm Team Ghost all day.
The other thing I found interesting about this episode, they kind of did plant the notion that maybe it could be someone we don't expect, because at first, getting towards the end with Paz, when her uh, son goes off and kind of takes her gun, and I'm thinking, because me and Perp had speculated, like, what if it was someone we didn't see, right? It's someone we don't know, and we're just, they're putting people in the lineup. So my train of thought is to go opposite of that and try to think outside of people they may have shown and we forgot about. Because sometimes when writers make it obvious, yeah, they're going to do a quick flip, and then again there's Arkham's Razum, where it says, the you know a straight line is just a straight line, kind of a deal. But I was like, oh, okay, so they're gonna make it her son. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but then she took the gun, so it's like, there's a lot of twists and turns. And then they did it earlier in the day. I'm like, okay, it's not her, because this is too early from the timeline we were following. So I liked how that was another thing that bugged me about her storyline. I liked how with Dre's storyline, his was literally like he got there whilst Ghost was being shot, and then he punched what's her face. That was hilarious. That was
Blanca.
probably
Yeah,
one of my favorite scenes in the new season.
I'm glad he slapped her. She
Oh,
mixed.
he straight up just like Superman punched her, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
What
like, I was like, that was great.
What do
She
you
still
think
had the
about
black on.
the young guy snitching, little short
Yeah.
guy?
Oh yeah.
I can't think of
What's
his
his right?
name.
That's Perp's character there. He likes him. Yeah, the two of them. I forgot his name. What's his name? Because they showed him. Now that's
Yeah,
another interesting wrinkle. Like,
yeah, yeah. One's still in jail and the other one's out, but they took him out after he killed, helped old boy kill Dre. It's like his name. What ain't one of them named Two Bits or something like that?
yeah, two bit, and he had a weird name. Two bit, I think, is still in jail, but
Yeah.
that's another interesting dynamic, because the timelines, she passes as he's making his deal. Now, keep
Mm-hmm.
in mind, this Ghost hasn't been shot yet. and his deal was, or no, Ghost had been shot because she said, "What happened to your eye?" Okay, so he's already out of jail.
Hmm. This
So
is the
you
next
know,
day after they killed
thank
Dre.
you, Tony. Spanky. That's what I was trying to think of. Spanky is his name. So it'll be interesting to see how that's gonna all play a factor too, because those timelines merge together. And 3 episodes left. He's got to get resolved because I think he's going to be taken out because he's snitching, and
Hmm.
that the show does not reward people who snitch.
That is correct. Uh, Another question: where do you think Tommy went to?
That is what I've been like. That's why I can't wait for next week because something had to have happened, and I'm
Maybe he went to
wondering.
the house where he bought for Lala. I can't think of her character.
He could have. I keep on thinking that maybe. See, so here's a loose thread that we have from last season that they have to resolve, and that's Keisha. Her death was so sloppy, which
Yeah,
I like her. I like her death, but the way
I
you
think
know
Tommy gonna kill Tasha
Tasha. That's what I've been thinking too, and I think his storyline has to do with something about that because
because he found that earring.
yeah, and they still have not resolved that. Welcome, Second Street Marvel. Thank you for hanging out with us. We are talking power, doing some theories, some speculations, breaking down episode 12. So, yeah, so when we get to that, she gets to Tommy's apartment and he's like vacant. It's vacated.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
He's gone. We know that someone else has been hunting him. There's a very good possibility that the cops might be looking for him. But my boy Tommy is smart and is just like, you know what? I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. Fuck everyone. I
Yeah.
am, I'm just out. So, I mean, I take this a couple of ways. One, it could have been made to look like he left and someone killed him, and then, just made it look like he fled the city. It could be he
The
fled the
people,
city
the people
and
that's after Tommy could be partner's cousins people. 'Cause I'm fairly certain he didn't tell somebody. He did not tell somebody where he was going. So he probably told his second in command, somebody, "Hey, look, I'm going over here to Tommy's, the Hegan's house. Ask about my cousin." So somebody probably know, and then we don't know what that little girl gonna do with that little chip that Proctor gave her. That could come
yeah,
into play too.
that's still up in the air
Yeah.
because he told Blanca a while ago that he had wired that doll, and then he told the bald headed guy, which is why he flipped out and had him suspended. So that is still in play.
But
And
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Ramona is doing all this stuff behind the scene.
she was off my radar until this episode. So let's talk about that.
That
Ramona
conversation her
and
and Paz had, and she made
that
that
scene,
comment. Some people can't be are too powerful to stop.
the way she looked, it
Uh
was
huh.
like he is falling for the fact that okay, so she's a politician, and
Hmm.
it's not like an Angela or someone dating Ghost. They like that really showed that these people are like underestimating her role, even me.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, it's kind of weird they just threw her in here, but she is like a female ghost. It's like
Yeah.
she recognizes
She
him
know
for
what.
him.
Yep. And she is scorned because her husband done humiliate her, and having that affair and all kind of stuff. She wants somebody powerful and that's gonna take care of her. And I would not be a bit surprised if she behind all this stuff and it's going and she's gonna clean up and tidy it up in a nice clean bowl.
I mean, because yeah, it was really weird because the other thing that you mentioned, which kind of had me pause on Ghost's death, was when the guy says he goes, St. Patrick is dead. why are you guys still, pulling the strings? And he's like, he just kind of like offsets and he's just like, well, you pissed off the Democratic Party anyway. So,
Mm-hmm. Ghost,
he
Ghost,
says,
Ghost is not dead. I'm telling you.
it's a very weird, it's
If
a very
Ghost,
weird,
if he's dead, I'm boycott this show. I'll tell you that right
well, if
now.
he's, I'm mixed on it. Um, I, like everyone else, would not want Ghost to be dead, but at the same time, I think it would lend more um,
No,
credibility to the show
no,
because
no.
if you can off your main character like that,
I hate
that's pretty
I hate
cool.
shows that end like that. When they killed Jax on Sons of Anarchy, I wanted to kick Kurt Sutter's ass.
Well, but it's like the natural progression. I mean, look, in at the end of the day, he can't have a happy ending because
Well,
all the
I don't
terrible
want
stuff he's
if
done.
Ghost can't have a happy ending, I don't want Tyreek and Tommy to have a happy ending either. Put all of them in the damn graveyard beside each other.
Like, I love Tommy. I'd like to see him escape, but I realistically know just the way his character is and how destructive he is. I don't think he's gonna get out alive. I mean, I
No.
want him to, but I know
Tommy,
that's probably not a
if
possibility.
if Ghost is a hurricane and Tommy's a tornado, everything they touch, with the exception of Tommy's mama, everybody that comes in contact with them seems to get hurt or killed.
Yeah, that. I mean, whether it's by them or by their actions.
And then what was his mom doing in that attorney's office?
That
Ta-
was another thing.
Talking about
Uh,
another son or something. I don't understand. I didn't get that part.
um, because I think she considers James like her son.
Maybe he left her something.
I'm
I, I,
thinking he did, but we
I
don't
don't
have
think.
that perspective.
Yeah, I don't think he liked her that much. I didn't think he liked her that much though. But maybe he did. I
I
don't. I don't know.
I think that they both have a
Like a
him
love
and
hate.
Tommy at the end of yeah, they have like a mutual thing because I'm figuring Ghost is a lot closer with her than his real parents, and in all actuality, we never really hear about his biological parents much.
No, all we heard about was his
So
uncle, and I think his dad or something. He buys
yeah,
back
so
that bar from his
but we never
uncle.
hear anything about his mother. So
No, no.
that would be that would be another interesting thing to like dive into. Like maybe he considers Tommy's mom like his mom because they grew up together. They're always hanging out together. You know, they
Yeah,
ran their business together.
that could be true.
So it's gonna be intriguing to see how that is because once again these are being shot to where we're only seeing it from that particular character's perspective and their
Yeah.
interactions. So you know we're gonna see the same scenes play out, but the people are gonna be positioned in different
Uh huh.
ways. So even now we're still not going to catch all the characters, and I gotta say that's one thing and I told Kurt this, it's one thing that I'm liking about this season is I like them kind of running back through, and now we're catching little tidbits of things that we didn't get in that episode because it was only from Ghost's perspective.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like a giant episode 13.
on 50 Cent was on some talk show, and he said they're gonna do something else after this, but it's gonna be from Tyreek's what Tyreek does after Power. So I don't know how many years gonna pass, but I'm thinking Tyreek's gonna survive, and if he don't learn the game, then that makes me believe that Tasha's gonna survive because she agreed to teach him the game. So I don't know if Ghost's gonna be a part of that, or it's gonna be 10 or 15 years after Ghost, but 50 Cent definitely said that they were gonna do a show. But I think it's gonna feature Tyreek
See
and
that, and me and Perp talked about that. I wouldn't watch that. I don't like his character. I wouldn't watch a whole show. I
uh,
don't like his
uh,
character at all.
I don't either. But if he was, I don't know. I can't sit here and say definitively I wouldn't watch it because if it has some stuff on there, and if they show him and Ghost reconciling, then I might be with sway his way. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
The two people I don't think are gonna make it out. I don't think Ghost is gonna make it out, and I don't think Tommy is gonna make it out. I think they're gonna wrap up the series with them. If they do something like that, I think it'll be like years after Ghost's
Yeah.
death. And
But you know, I hate when these shows come on and you invest all your time and energy and get to know these characters, and then because sometimes the crooks make it. Not all the time, but sometimes the bad guys make it. But most of these shows they show the bad guy. I don't understand it. So, like I said, you probably right. Ghost and Tommy probably get killed, but I won't like it worth a damn if Ghost is killed.
I mean, it'd be an interesting. I guess it'd be an interesting twist because there's been very few shows where the villain actually does, or the morally ambiguous character actually does make it through. Um, a lot of the times with these shows, it's tend to like whether it's a punishment that they get that's you know they live but they don't want to. Like you said, the Shield's an excellent example. After all that shit, Vic's whole team died, but he lived, not
Yep.
the way he wanted to, but he still lived.
Yeah.
And that ending was kind of up in the air.
Yeah. I didn't like
So
that in it at all because he takes the gun out the cabinet and puts it on and go out, so you don't know whether he got killed or I don't know. It's crazy, like you said. It's just I just I'm curious to see what these next few episodes are going to be. Like you said, they're going to have to double up on somebody. So the most important character out of the five that's left to me is Tommy. So I wish they would do a whole episode on him, then double up.
yeah, because I'm looking. It looks to be like this next week's episode is going to be Tommy, which is kind of an interesting choice because now it makes me wonder who the final two are going to be, and one of those
Probably going to be
has to be the
Tyreek
killer.
and Tasha.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What
That's
what
one
up,
that makes
Gary?
sense. Tyreek and Tasha. Then
So
the other one would probably be Tate and Sachs. I think those are five that's left. So they do
yeah,
Tommy this week, then they do Tate and Sachs, and then they'll end it with with Tariq and Tasha.
yeah, that would be very that's very interesting. I was kind of hoping that if they went that route, they do uh Tyreek and Tasha first because I Tasha's okay. I don't like Tyreek, so I would have liked to get them out of the way first, but it
Yeah,
it
with
doesn't.
Tasha and Tariq, they're gonna tap a lot of loose ends.
Yeah, because there
So
was a lot of things.
I'm curious to see from their perspective because I'm sure
Yeah, because
they're gonna show us some conversations they had that we weren't previously seeing on the regular episodes. That's
yeah,
definitely
and
what I
I'm
would do.
really thinking Tasha's not gonna make it. I mean, I don't foresee them leaving that whole Keisha thing. Like when she killed her, that to me, for that character, kind of sealed her fate because she went a little bit above, you know,
I
what she
think,
normally has done in the show. Like she
yeah,
killed her best
but
friend.
but
There's
it
got to
comes
be a repercussion.
but it comes down to you or me. That's what they rationalize stuff. Most people they kill, they rationalize. If I don't kill this person, it's gonna be me or them. That's why Tommy killed Proctor, because he thought Proctor was gonna sneak and tell on him. That's why he
Yeah,
killed
that was
Angela,
mine. I
and that
hated that death.
and that's why oh boy, that's why Ghost killed Tommy's dad, because Tommy's dad was trying to throw him under the bus. Ghost was like,
Yeah,
So
that was that was definitely very definitely very telling. And what's up, perp?
You're my bad, I'm late.
No problem. We were diving into episode 12. We stalled a little bit and did some episode 3, and I've just been talking. We've had a pretty good talk, so we've kind of thrown back on a 4th-hour idea. So, what do you feel about the episode and the setup and everything? And my boy's next. I'm so excited.
Well, first off, I'm not gonna like. I gotta be honest with this. This episode was bad. Like I didn't like this episode at all. The only part I liked in this episode was when Tommy popped up. That's about the only time I liked this episode. Everything else was just. It's like now you got 3 episodes left, and it's just like I don't know. I'm mixed on like everything up to this point. I know what they were going for, but it's just like nobody really cares about Paz as a whole. Like, yeah, I understand she's Angela's sister, but like her whole character is just not needed. And I think this episode was kind of a waste. That's just me.
Yeah, I was landing on that as well. Comic Shot did make a good point that some of her interactions did bring to light a lot of different things that we hadn't seen. Like that club scene was explained, which it was explained a lot better because how she was having a civil conversation with him didn't make sense in that episode. And so it was good for them to kind of show that she was wired trying to catch him slipping up and saying something. So I liked that.
You could have put the two and two together there and whatnot because when like they're first like she's sitting there asking way too many questions and just like kind of hounding him. Like Ghost is a lot smarter than that, so he's not gonna fall for that. And like
Yeah.
you know what annoyed me the most about this is the gun that she had. Like she's out here willy nilly with the gun, like in front of people, like in the club. She just takes out the fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But I was saying earlier, I feel like she was there to be the civilian perspective. So, because when you look at how this show has been structured, we've seen the cops, we've seen the drug dealers and the gangsters, but I think she represented the people necessarily that are caught between this thing between Tommy, James, all of them. Like it's the repercussions from the people who are around them, even the innocent people, right? Which we've seen the repercussions before, but it's always been in the circle of Tommy or James, right? His daughter dying, that was a personal repercussion of him. She was innocent, but she was still in his inner circle. And, so we had that dynamic. This episode was more about the people they are affecting outside of their world because her sister getting killed does directly affect her from a family perspective. And we saw it also affected her from a financial perspective as well. Which, how did you feel about the whole financial thing and how?
I felt that was interesting. You know, it seemed like a very ghost-like thing to do for him to do that. But like I said, like throughout the whole episode, she's not trying to like hear it. Like she knows that Ghost ain't do it, and like it's just she literally is crazy. But it's I don't know. I just couldn't get behind this whole episode. You know, like I said, I know, like y'all make some good points, but it's just like, mm-mm,
I
mm-mm.
think. I
Hey,
think.
what's up, man?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying what's up.
All right, what's up, man? I think it was a little slow, like me and so I said earlier, but I learned a lot from it. One of the key things I learned from it that I didn't on the original episode when they was at the bar. I was wondering like, why is this so disjointed and it's not making sense. It didn't occur to me that she had a wire on, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that until they showed this perspective of it. Also, I was telling Zara that if you watch the after show, Power Confidential, it tells that whenever they're doing these reshoots of the scenes that we saw Ghost getting shot, it's changing up different words, different lines. So it's more from the individual's perspective than it was when we actually initially saw it. So
Yeah, her perspective didn't change. It went down like the same way pretty much. I know with Dre's perspective was a little bit different with hers. It didn't really change. You know, as soon as she started asking who killed my sister, that already was a red flag for Ghost. Even earlier before that, when he was getting followed, he already felt like something was off. And it's
well,
like
well in the new
it
show, in the show where they showed the original show, I never saw the black car there and her jumping out and all that kind of stuff. So that was different. We didn't see that in the original episode that she was following him and contemplating killing him. And we
yeah
also and we didn't see. Go ahead.
yeah they kind of added because I was thinking we were going to see the other car that was following Ghost, the old like Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't know who was in that. But it's like she just kind of made it way too obvious. It's like you really gonna try to take out Ghost in the middle of the day in front of all these people? Come on now, you gotta be smarter than that. It was just like she wasn't thinking logically.
She wasn't. This whole episode is showing how grief stricken she was. Because I was saying to Zod, in no circumstances would I ever, if my son or daughter, brother, sister, whatever was in that type of business, and they died in the line of service and had a good name, no matter how mad I was or whatever, I'm not going to do anything to discredit that name. But she was so mad and so grief stricken and feel revenge. She calls her sister's name to be going down now. They're not going to get the pension, which I told Zara, I don't think her and her son ain't nothing but moochers. Because all they worried about was who's going to pay for this apartment and who's going to pay for my school and who's going to pay for Poppy. That part pissed me off.
There's some other parts like when she goes to meet with Sax, and then why wouldn't Sax tell him like, oh, Tommy must have done it, because Tommy straight up told Sax like, yeah, I killed Angela and stuff, and that was a little sloppy, and I think the one thing that kind of hurts this show overall is just the policing and how that's handled. It's just like they make like all the policing look dumb. Like a lot of these, like there's still a lot of evidence out there we still haven't. It's like you tell me you couldn't find none of Tasha's DNA or like anything. Like I'm glad that they do address like the Lakeisha thing and stuff, and even though they kind of glossed over it, they didn't really like bring that much attention to it. And I understand there's like 3 episodes left. They could still go back and and explain that more, because it's just like they had a whole like Lakeisha and Tasha had a whole fight. So there was definitely like evidence she was missing an earring. So her DNA is all over that house and whatnot. And just like it's just little things like that. It's just like they kind of gloss over where, me personally, like I don't think it was like pause was necessary in this whole entire story. You could take her whole story out, and it wouldn't really change nothing. Wouldn't really affect anything. Them digging up Angela was so disrespectful. I was like, "Are you really about to dig this chick up?" Like,
that was because of Paz doing stupid stuff. But
it's just like
I can see if it was her intent to hurt Jamie and to get him, I can see the reasoning behind that. Would I have done it? I don't think so. But If she made up her mind consciously, and based on what Zah was saying earlier, throughout the whole show, she's been like this preacher, this pillar, trying to do the right thing. So that coincides with her character. Now, would I have done it? I don't think so. But
which was my point. What I was saying, I did like the consistency, and like it does give credibility to the character when I go back, because I always thought, like I was saying earlier, I always thought she was annoying and just an unnecessary character in general. She's like that friend you have come over who like preaches to you about doing stuff, and you're like,
She,
shut up, man.
she's definitely not a favorite at all, because it's like, how out of all the series, how long have we seen her? We haven't seen her really as much. So it's like, you want us to care about this character that you barely shown us. Like, now, if they gave us like setup for this last season, I could give this episode a pass, and it's just like, all right, this makes a little bit more sense. But I don't just I really just I hate to quote this, but I feel like they they slightly pulled the Last Jedi with this episode a little bit, but that's a whole other topic.
I think the reason why you hate this topic because you don't care for Paz.
No, I don't. I really don't. I really don't care for Paz. I even called it like last week. I was like, all right, this is the Paz episode, so this probably not going to be like, this is not going to win fans over. Which is, it's like in my biggest issue with it, it's being episode 12, and we got 3 episodes left, and I never liked the whole. I do give them credit for the whole, we're going to show everybody's perspectives and stuff like that. But if Ghost is really dead, we could talk about that whenever you guys want to talk about. If Ghost is really dead, which even though we don't see it, yeah, like I'm 50-50 with it. But if he is dead, that's a poor way of just explaining that he's dead. It's just like, then what's the point, But I do want to see how it plays out, because I think there's more to this because of that dude that pops up on was it Jacob Warner, the guy from the Democratic Party and stuff, like, that dude's mad shady. That dude's mad shady, because he doesn't really make mention, when there's the breaking news that Ghost has been killed and stuff. He doesn't even make mention of that the second time he comes to visit.
I said the
Jake
same
Warner.
thing. I said I wasn't 50-50 on Ghost's death until that guy. And like, when he's in the office and dude like comes blatantly out and says, well, Ghost is dead, what does it matter? He kind of pauses and he says, well, you pissed off the party. So it was like, that was a pretty, I don't know if that was like even a big slip up to saying he's not really dead.
I'm telling you, Ramona is behind the scenes pulling the strings.
A lot of people say like Blanca is also a part of it. She's also going along with it. Like, there's multiple people going along with it, because it all leads up to like the last episode is titled how we planned it, or something like that, somewhere along that. But
me and Zod think that they're gonna do Tommy next. Then the next episode they're gonna do it from Sax and Tate's perspective, and then end up doing it from Tasha and Tariq's perspective to end the show.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see it falling around like that. But
especially now that brings me more to that conclusion, being the whole how we planned it. That definitely sounds like, because I can picture them having the last episode be the core, and whether or not you like Tyreek and Tasha is still part of that core. So I could picture them ending it on their.
Or could you picture all 4 of them playing this whole thing and they all ride off together?
That'd be interesting.
Ghost, Tommy, Tasha, and Tyreek, because that's the core family there now.
Yeah, I still don't think they're on good terms, and we can't forget about Quentin, Tasha's little simp boyfriend that he's got. I really hope he's not the one that shot Ghost. I'd be really, because I understand, like, yeah, that would be like subverting our expectation, but no, like, it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. I
Yeah, I
don't
think
want,
it should be one of the people that are suspects. I don't, or if they deviate, it should be someone that we've seen before
and
that we just didn't think of.
I'm so glad when Paz found out that Tommy was the one that killed Angela. She didn't want, like, I was like, are they about to have Paz kill Tommy right now? It's still very likely, but it might not be Tommy, it might be his mom, who knows? But if that were to happen, if Paz was the one to take out Tommy, I'd be so pissed. I'd be
Oh,
done.
I'd be pissed too.
I'd
I'd
be
be done
done.
with that.
I'd
Because
be done.
Tommy's my favorite character. Like, if he goes out, which I have a feeling, I don't want to admit it, but I have a feeling he's just gonna go out some kind of violent way because that's just how his character's set up.
Yeah,
If he goes out,
he's already irredeemable and stuff and whatnot. So he's that. I always said, like,
who's Ghost though? Let's be real. Ghost is
Ghost is not that bad, and people trying to make it out. Yeah, he's an asshole, but he's not that bad compared to, like,
he's a
like,
horrendous
he still looks
person.
out for people.
He does, but the problem is we talked about this before too. Is that he thinks 5 moves ahead, true, but what does he do in order to make those moves happen? He positions people like chess pieces. When you really stop and think about his character, he is like, it's like 50 said it best in his hallucination. He thinks he's this great guy who's helping people out, but he's delusional. He's no different than how 50 was, because 50 was more honest about it.
What Ghost does, Ghost assesses your character, what you gonna bring to the table, what you don't bring to the table. Can he trust you with this? And most of the time, when he trusted Tommy, Tommy did dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you know good and well, him and Ghost supposed to be boys. Now all of a sudden, Reddy, Tommy's daddy, pops up in the scene, wants to be loving. That's suspicious to somebody that lives in their lifestyle. And he tried to tell Tommy, but Tommy didn't want to listen because Tommy is a more emotional person than Ghost is. Ghost is more cerebral. So Ghost did what he had to do. Look, you trying to get me, I'm gonna get you before you get me. That's the name of the game.
And you got to look at it too. Like, every single character here is, like, from Ghost to Tommy it is somewhat selfish. They only think about themselves. Look at Tasha. Tasha's been selfish since season 1. Like, people forget that Tasha's is the one that wanted Ghost to stay in the game in the first place.
We've been trying to get out since season 1.
Yeah, he's been trying to get out since season 1.
I hate Angela's character, but I did root for him getting with Angela. I'm not gonna lie, especially after that line that Tasha had said, and I'm like, oh, this is here.
Tasha was shady because, man, she slept with Kanan. I'm telling you, that's why she hated Kanan. Kanan raped her. Kanan raped her, and I guarantee you, Tariq is Kanan's son.
A lot of people have that theory, but I think it's a little bit too late for that theory. That's an interesting theory, though. But, like,
my theory was she hated Kanan because Kanan raped her, and that's why she hated didn't want Tariq and him to get together. And when Tariq found out that his own mother had him kill his daddy, he gonna kill her.
I would be so fine with Courtney Kemp and just the writers pulling a fast one. I don't even care if it doesn't make sense, and just fucking bring back Kanan. Like, Kanan just faked his death somehow, and he's the one that shot Ghost. That would be epic. I was like, yes. It doesn't make sense, but
I'd be all right with that.
Kanan is my second favorite character.
I always thought, like, season 5, it was a big mistake killing off his character. I think they could have still did a lot with his character, but it is what it is. And and a big issue. I don't know how you felt about this, Danny. Overall about this season and them introducing so many different new characters in such a because I just like we don't need these introductions to all these new characters like Benny, Jason just got in the way. That whole kidnapping little thing they did in the beginning of the season, I felt like that was kind of like a waste of time. It's just a lot of things that could have just been cleaned up. And
Um,
me personally,
I agree with you about Benny. He's kind of unneeded, but I think
mm,
the part where Tyreek was faked his own kidnap, I think that's more of character development. Because
mm,
he's comparing how his intellect compared to Ghost when Ghost was his age and he's trying to be smart as Ghost, but of course he's not. Kind of especially like the part when he wakes him up with a gun in his face.
that was classic. I love that.
He's gonna kill him. Yeah, he gonna and if Ghost,
I
but
love
Ghost
that.
biggest mistake, if he would teach Tyreek, they could be unbeatable. Because Tyreek
Mhm.
got the drive, but
And
and
that's
that's
the thing. And that's the thing. Like he was actually trying to look out for his son, even though like yeah they spun it like all right, I'm not gonna take this charge for you. And I guess Tyreek felt some type of way, but I never believed Tyreek's character. I don't know how you feel about his character as a whole, but like you know your dad's trying to give you this trying to give you this nice life and shit, and you just kind of like spitting in his face. But I understand that Kanan's gotten in his head so much that it's like it's too he's too far gone already. But it's just like I don't really. Maybe it's just the actor that's playing Tyreek because he doesn't hit his portrayal. He doesn't really
yeah, he don't come
bring it
off
to
as
me.
hard.
Yeah,
Come off more smart and hard.
and I think that's my biggest issue with Tyreek is just like if we had a bet like a different actor and then it kind of made that character kind of believable.
I agree with you on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he don't come off
I
as so.
don't think that it's necessarily the actor because I've seen him hit good scenes. I think it's more of playing to the actor's strength. I honestly think that the writing hasn't been there for his character in particular.
Yeah, but he
If
don't.
because he's shown he could be clever. And I think if they played that instead of him trying to be gangster and being more clever
Mm.
and then not manipulative like child manipulative, but kind of
I,
behind the scenes
I,
doing things,
I think we
I
agree,
think I'd
but
buy
you're
it.
just saying a little bit different than what me and Perp saying. We agree
Mm.
that he's smart and clever, but his look is not the look of someone that's he can believe that's hard. He doesn't. When you
Yeah.
look at him, you don't see him being hard.
I could see him being in the gangster world, but more of that gangster that's in a business suit, like like a yakuza, right? When you see
Okay.
them, they're in a corporate world. They are legitimate businessmen, right? They look smart, but they will shoot someone or blow up their house or
Right.
something like that, and then they'll go to a dinner party. He strikes me as they should have written him more like that, like embracing the the social life. They tried to bring him to the street, and I thought he was better in that like that prep school he was in. I thought that that was a better setting for him because instead of trying to make him street level, they should have had him go business level and be a different kind of ghost, a different kind
And
of
and,
gangster,
and
a corporate.
it, it's even like they said earlier in the season, like y'all doing all this for Tyreek. I was like, I would let him die. Like honestly, like y'all doing too much for this kid. Like he's too much of a nuisance.
I don't know if I let him die, but I would let him
I would have let him die. I
like
care.
like I wasn't mad when that guy hit him with a bag of oranges. I let him get his ass.
That was hilarious. That was
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing. That's what most people like will say about Tyreek. He needed his ass whooped. They never once put. They always wanted to just like, no, you put hands on that child. Like
Mm-hmm.
let him realize. Like how Tommy had him shook.
Yep.
But Tommy should have dropped his ass. I would have dropped his ass so fast.
I think
Yeah.
I think the best scenes that worked, or the scenes for me that were the best that I've ever seen him in, were the ones with him and Kanan. I think that dynamic was probably the best he was ever in. For some reason,
The best was when he betrayed Kanan, was in hiding in the back seat,
oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, that
and
was such a
Kanan,
heartbreaking.
Kanan killed all those cops and got shot.
He's
And
like,
he looked
I
at him in
ain't
the
going
back.
back to
Yeah,
jail.
that scene was hard. 'Cause I
Yeah.
really thought he was gonna kill Tyreek, but part of him must have liked Tyreek because if he didn't,
Yeah,
he would have
yeah,
smoked.
Yeah, he killed his own
definitely.
son in the first season
Yeah, if he
or the
killed his own
second season.
son, his own
And
son,
and and I think that's why Ghost was avoiding killing his own son because I know he like you could tell that he wanted to like at times that he was like I could take you out right now, but he's like as soon as he does that he becomes Kanan.
mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird. See, the reason why I liked their dynamic was
Tyreek is Kanan's son.
because if you flip it right, if you flip it when the remember the limo driver or whoever, right, in the first 2 seasons, who
Kanan's
was
son.
Kanan's son, yeah, he felt
Sean.
more like Ghost's son. Yeah, Sean felt more like Ghost, and Tyreek felt more like Kanan's son. You see what I'm saying? Like the dynamics feel like they were swapped, and maybe purposefully so, but it always felt to me like the two men had connections, but to each other's kids, like you're saying, like
No, Ghost, I think Ghost knew that he did Kanan wrong, so he kind of felt obligated to look after his son. And then when
and
Kanan
then
figured
he
out
more
that
raised
Ghost,
him.
and when Kanan found out Ghost messed him up by that hitting that tail light or whatever, then he felt like, okay, well, you took my son, then I'm gonna do everything in my power to take your son. So that's why.
Yeah, he that's why the Kanan is definitely. I think I would say Kanan is the best villain because
Kanan was the
he
best
played.
villain, but I think Andre gonna be the most hated villain.
Yeah, Andre's just like to touch on the whole Dre situation. I was like, I really felt nothing for his death. I guess because it wasn't by
I was
it.
happy.
I'm still happy he's dead, but I was like, I think it would have been more impactful if Tommy or even Ghost got his hand, more so Tommy if Tommy got his hands on him or something like that. You know, somebody like a character that was pissed off about him.
But I was
Or-
happy. I was happy
Yeah.
that when you got killed. He's like a damn roach, man. He step on him and he still keep crawling and get some way.
He should have been dead last season, but you know,
he got on my
whatever. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. Like, that's why I thought, like, that's why I found that scene to me was kind of like, it kind of did hit me a little bit when because I watched that episode like a couple of times, and I'm like, you know, it wouldn't have been pulled off as well as it didn't if that dude didn't play that character so well, because by the end of it, I'm kind of like, dude, like, I can see you trapping yourself, and it's that feeling of watching him literally put himself in the corner. And that room is kind of like a metaphor. The protective custody at the end is kind of like a metaphor for his life. He's put himself to a position where he's locked himself in this room with all of these enemies gathering around him because of every action. And yeah, he's escaped, but at what cost? Who has he killed? Who has he fucked over to escape? So I thought that was probably the most meaningful death.
I want to bring this character up too, even though I think the writers just forgot about him. To be honest, don't know if he's going to pop up in these next few episodes. Cristobal,
who?
Because Cristobal, he was with Dre, and he was with the Jimenez and stuff, and he pretty much just got arrested and whatnot. He didn't die or nothing like that. He just got arrested, and you know they didn't really. Or not, his character got away or something like that, but they completely just forgot about his character.
I don't remember him.
He was oh man, see like that's
You know, somebody. Go ahead.
He was with the Jimenez and stuff. He was with Dre. He was like Dre's like right hand man at the time.
I thought Dre killed him.
Nah. He I would have to go look back at it, but I'm pretty sure he didn't get killed. It was just the two Jimenez that got killed and whatnot. But
I thought he was running his mouth one day when Dre came back and he said something crazy and Dre shot him.
No, I think that was somebody else. But I'm gonna have to go back and look at that because like I'm pretty sure he's still alive, but they kind of just forgot about him.
I'm gonna tell you who could have shot Ghost too. Now I'm thinking about it. Oh, Sonny, because Sonny had a bone to pick with Ghost, And since Benny got killed, now Ghost don't have that protection.
Yeah, and that's why I say like the only person I feel like has the right to even kill Ghost or even get even that close to Ghost is Tommy. But
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't seem like it's playing out that way, which is disappointing, and which pisses me off about like how they advertised the beginning of this season. It's just like
You said Tommy
people go,
has the right to kill Ghost.
yeah, because like that's his brother. Like he they've been Ghost regardless of how like that situation with his pops went down. He did manipulate him to kill his own father.
Yeah,
But
I think they.
And let's keep
I
in
think they're
mind too,
even.
Ghost
He
Ghost has
killed Angela, and he killed his daddy. So I think they're even on that.
yeah, but Ghost has also fucked him over in so many other ways too. I mean, let's not forget, like our favorite season, we were talking about this earlier, was when he killed all of those drug dealers at the same time. But that had repercussions because then Tommy didn't have a pipeline and he got out and he's like, oh, find something else to do. I'm out. That was when he was going to go with Angela, and he was like, Ghost is dead. He fucked over Tommy in that too, and Tommy forgave him. He fucked him over a couple of times through various seasons, and Tommy always forgives him. And then he
come
took
on,
out his
God.
pops, and that's like the unforgivable. He's like, that's family.
You got a man crush on Tommy, man. Come on,
I'm just,
man.
I'm just saying.
Tommy, and
Ghost always gets a pass.
Tommy and
Like,
Ghost, they're the same. They're two sides of the same coin.
yeah, I'm not saying
yeah,
Tommy
they're definitely
needs to die. As much as I hate to say it, Tommy needs to die. He's a terrible person. But let's not forget, Ghost has
both
done
of them
some shitty
live, or
stuff
both
too.
of them die. One doesn't deserve to live any more than the other.
Because I'm saying, if you get like Ghost live, then Tommy's got to live too.
Okay, I agree with that.
I'm just upset the way they advertised the season. Like at first, before they got to the whole who shot Ghost shit, it was like before it was Team Ghost or are you Team Ghost or are you Team Tommy? And we got none of that this season. We ain't got none of that. Like that would have been perfect way to end the season, just with these two going back and forth for just
Well, pretty much for these last 2 episodes, they were going back and forth. I thought.
Not as much as I wanted though, because like I said, they introduced all these new characters and they kind of got in the way, and then like they were hating each other, and then they would team up with each other, hate each other again, team up with each other. It was just getting just ridiculous.
Well, I think they teamed up only out of necessity. They teamed up because of Tyreek, and they teamed up at that warehouse because people were shooting at both of them. And see, I bet we're gonna see something from Tommy's perspective. Because I'm still not clear about that warehouse shooting.
I feel like that has something to do with Tommy. Like Tommy's behind that possibly.
Speaking
or somebody, some outside sort outside. Like it might be
it'll be Sonny. That's who it is. Sonny got a bone to pick with Tommy and Ghost.
We still haven't seen Cedric the Entertainer, so I feel like his character is gonna have something more to do with Spanky.
Huh?
I think
Cedric.
Yeah, he's in this. He's in these last episodes. Like if you watch the previews and stuff, like the little previews that they tease and stuff, he's in this. He has a little cameo. Like I feel like he's because there's like this one scene that they show real quick of a person tied up to a chair. I think that's gonna be Spanky. I was thinking that was gonna be Tommy, but why the fuck would they be tying up Tommy and shit? But I'm wondering who's holding that gun to Tommy. At first, it was probably Benny's people, whatever.
Tommy done haul ass. I don't know where he went to.
But no, like from like when they before they we got all these when they're starting to show all the previews for what's to come in these last 5 episodes. There's one scene where Tommy's got a gun to his head. We don't know who's behind the gun and whatnot, but we'll see probably when we get to his perspective and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
which,
that's
by the
the
way,
reason why
is going to be next week.
Mm-hmm. Something happened, like because I'm wondering why his mom popped up. What she has to do with all this? Like
Ghost left her some money.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna be a little bit more than that too, because she's definitely gonna have to. I think that's gonna have more to do when we see Tommy's perspective, and I
So
think a lot of
I know you guys. Did you guys see the coming of the next episode? The little
yeah
preview they do.
yeah
I didn't
So
see it.
like, yeah, it kind of it lets us know Tommy's episode is next. So super excited, and
yeah.
they
Tyreek's gonna tell that one chick that XYZ Tommy did this, blah blah
yeah.
blah. That's
Yep,
gonna be interesting.
they had that. They brought up the Benny thing again. They showed Sonny again, so he's definitely going to be in the episode. Um, so yeah, like you were saying, that whole thing now that Benny was taken out, he doesn't
Yeah.
have that protection anymore. So they showed him, and it looked like he was going in somewhere talking to some people. So it's gonna be. I'm actually really looking forward to that because I think like the gang end of it is gonna be wrapped up with him. So I kind of want to see, and then like. So we get Paz's perspective of her going, and he's cleared out. So I want to see why, like, because the first time she goes to see him, his apartment is there, but he looked like nervous, like he was waiting for something or something was going
Mhm.
on because he was kind of like rushing her out of the house,
Yep.
even
That
though like
that part was hilarious. Like when she comes, she comes to me. It's like I need your help
To
to
shoot the guy that murdered my
yeah
sister.
yeah
And
he's
like
he,
like,
to
I
shoot
can't do
to
that. That
kill
was
him. I can't do that.
hilarious.
I wish he would have told her right there, but like she had a gun, so he couldn't really do that. Like
But
yeah.
I think that if you take that scene into context and then you go to the end of the episode when she goes back with the gun out and she looks in his apartment and it's like the doors open and everything's gone, that's kind of suspect too. So now it's gonna be either he fled because some shit went horribly wrong. Because that's not like cleared out like that. It's not like some beef went down. Because we've seen him in that apartment
I
when
think
like
I think many people put some pressure on him.
yeah,
yeah,
he
whatever it was, he got out of Dodge.
and hey, who's to say he's not already dead at that point? You know,
That's what I
but
was saying too. There's only one or two reasons his apartment's cleared out. Either he got out and he's running from who's ever chasing him, or they made it look like he left and he's buried somewhere. So
Because he don't have a crew no more.
now he's got no protection. And then with Ghost now dead, he's really got no protection.
Mm-hmm. One of his boys
So
got shot, two of them in jail.
I just need him to put a bullet in Tasha's head before they even exit his character. Just let him find out about that. I would want to see that interaction, like, because I feel like that'd be a heartbreaking moment. Because like the last person that he could actually trust was Tasha, but then like that kind of like
Yeah.
that kind of just got kind of ruined later on, uh, this season and shit. And I feel bad for Tommy because he really like his whole thing this season is like he's trying to you know live a normal life like Ghost, but it's just
That's
it's not working. It's not working. It doesn't work.
That's funny.
it was hilarious. Like I love those were my favorite episodes. Like seeing him in the suburbs and seeing like how he handles stuff as opposed to Ghost. Like he'd be the most horrible parent at a PTA meeting. Picture Tom going in and being like, "Nah, this is bullshit. I'm gonna have to cap someone in here."
Kind of like the guy on what's that crazy show now? He's a bad dad. What's the name of that show? My wife watches that shit all the time.
Shameless.
Yep, that's it. Shameless.
Yeah. And it's funny though, like not to go too far off the topic, but like the actress that plays Paz she plays a character in Shameless, and their characters are almost damn near identical. Like she's obsessed with getting Frank in jail, and where Paz is obsessed with putting like
Ghost in jail.
Yeah, it's that shit was funny as hell. Watching those two characters, but yeah, it's just
They
I,
explain a lot on how they shot stuff and her perspective. If you watch Power Confidential, so
I
if you
might
yeah,
have to go and do
I haven't caught
that.
those.
get a
I haven't
chance to
caught
watch
those.
that on her, because she was on tonight explaining some of the stuff and what the director was wanting to do and get. Because then they talk in particular about when her and Tommy interacted, how they filmed it differently with cameras in hand, and they wanted her to be kind of like crazy because she was saying he's a monster and all. So
Hmm.
there were different reasons why they wanted her to do that. So and
It,
they
is there anything different that you would do would have done in this episode?
I didn't think the episode was boring at all. Maybe because of my profession, I like to
Mm,
learn stuff and put stuff together. Um, what I learned definitely from this, in my opinion, based on what I've seen today, I don't think Ghost is dead. I think they're hiding him out. I think Ramona is pulling a lot of the strings, and I
mhm.
think that it's going to
Yeah,
be a wild ride when we
yeah,
see really what happened.
yeah, because it doesn't feel right that they would like kind of say he's
No,
dead like that. Like
no,
it doesn't. It
that
has to
guy,
be more emotional. If they were gonna kill off Ghost or something, it had to have to be like some epic dope
and that
scene.
guy
Like
for
don't
the
just.
Democratic was he
Hmm.
got too much power. He came in there with too much power, too fast, too slick. So they're doing something. I don't know what it is
And then,
because
and you gotta think of the spinoff. The spinoff is called Book Two Ghost. So and my whole thing before that was like somebody was going to kill Ghost and try to take his name. Either Dre or Tyreek was going to try to take his name and go to like L.A. or something like that.
uh,
I mean, Tyreek still might.
It's very possible because they do want to do a spinoff of him and whatnot. That's evident.
I'm
The only
really
spinoff I want to see is like a younger Ghost and all that because like there's like certain like things that they tease. I would like to see like how Ghost became Ghost and like how he was as a younger kid, how Angela was when she was younger. Like she was probably a little bit wild. I want to see a younger Tommy. That would be entertaining as hell. I feel like, and just I wanted to get more backstory on the Breeze character because a lot of people have a theory that Breeze was Ghost is dead.
that'd be cool.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be an interesting sort of take, but yeah. So overall, let me just go down the line here, and we'll go to um what you would rate this show at, or this episode at, and then any final thoughts, theories, or anything that you have for upcoming episodes. And I will start with you, Mr. Comic Chat.
Oh, I gotta rate it. It's definitely not a 10. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a 7. Um, it was a little slow, like Perp said, but um, I love the different perspectives. Like when I saw it last week, I didn't think I was like, "What is this?" But then once I realized it was perspective of Dre, and I see the direction they were going, I think that is very smart. I don't think I've seen a show done that quite the way they're doing it now, from the actual perpetrators or suspects perspective. Um, I hope next week will be Tommy's, or if not Tommy's, at least Tasha's or Tariq's. One of the more pertinent characters and more important characters. I'm still going to stick to my belief that I think Tate is the shooter because he
Mm.
has the skill set. Former law enforcement officer. Um, no one really knows his beef against James except him, James, and Ramona. And he's not on any of the law enforcement's radar. So I'm thinking he makes the logical, if it's one of the 5 people that's left. If it's somebody
Mm.
else that's not in that group, then I'm betting on Sonny. but I give this a 7. I did not hate it. I did not love it, but I learned some information from it, so I thought it was okay.
Nice. And what are some things that you would like to see answered before the show wraps up?
I don't want Ghost to die or get killed. That's probably not going to happen. I wouldn't be mad if Tommy lived. Um, I would love for it to be if what Perp Man said that we how we plan this or something. If those four, the core family, Ghost, Tommy, Tariq, Tasha, if this one big plan and they plan everything and they get away scot free, I would be happy with that. I would,
That
I
would
would,
serve my expectation.
I would love it. I would not be mad at it at all. I go to bed happy that night. But if everybody gets killed and Tyreek's the only one living, then that would suck.
Right.
I think we can all agree on that. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Perp, what's your rating, and where would you, or what some things, if you
Oh
could have
man.
some things wrapped up, what would you like wrapped up?
Well, for me, I know I would have to probably rate this out of 10. I'd probably give this shit a whole 4 or 5 out of
Ooh,
10.
that's
You
cold.
know, yeah, like I said, the only thing I really like this was a difficult episode to get through for me. Like, I'm sitting there just looking at the time, like, when is this shit gonna end? And then Tommy pops up, like, yes, give me more Tommy, just give me more Tommy or Ghost, man. Like, this is what it's missing right now. Just like, but all that aside, we got 3 episodes left. I'm just hoping they turn up. Like, we can't get no more slow shit, no nothing. We got to start wrapping things up. Things are going. People are going. Bodies are going to have to. I'm surprised to see how many people are still alive. To be honest, I think a lot more people should have died. Um, at this point, um,
You a violent man, boy.
I'm just like, yeah, it's just like I'm over some of these characters. I'm just over some of these characters. I'm like, they can go. They're expendable. Um, but next episode, I'm just really hoping that it's better than this one. It, it it's We're gonna see where Tyreek's gonna be playing in all this. Gonna see what Tate's gonna be up to. It's really up in the air, but I think I think there's gonna be more to it. Probably by the last episode, we'll see from the perspective of like what went down, like how Ghost was shot or whatnot. Maybe there was a scuffle. Maybe Tasha. I forget whose video I was watching where they came up the theory that maybe Tyreek tries to shoot Tyreek tries to shoot Ghost, but Tasha gets there in time to stop them. They get into like, or no, Ghost and Tyreek get into like a little scuffle. Uh, Tasha's able to kind of break it up, and she's the one that shoots Ghost, and not Tyreek. But you know, it's going to be interesting. That's one thing I could say about Power, regardless if you may not like an episode or whatnot. They always do a good job of getting you excited for the next episode. I could say that at
That's
least.
that's very true.
And
That is
because me personally, you know, this whole show as a whole, like I really enjoy it. Me personally, I think ever since like season 4, they were going in this weird direction that I necessarily don't really buy, or I wasn't really feeling. But it is what it is. Amari, regardless if he's alive or dead, he literally put this whole show on his back and just ran with it. Him and Tommy, him and the actor that plays Tommy has been the most consistent. So you know, definitely shout out to those two, regardless on how somebody may feel about the show. Those two have definitely still been the most consistent. Next to Kanan also too. I don't want to forget about him neither. But it's going to be interesting to see how this ends. This ending couldn't, as long as it's not a Game of Thrones ending, I'm cool. Which I don't think it's going to be that bad, or I don't think it's going to be on that level or not. But like, I got hope.
No, I
I got
came
hope
from
for
the
the
Game
ending.
of Thrones, and I could tell you nothing in television could possibly disappoint me in this world as much
Yeah,
as that ending. There
that's
is
all.
not one show that has disappointed me that much. It's
That's
just-
that's all I'm hoping for. Is just a solid ending.
Let me
That's all.
ask you y'all one question before you go, Zod.
Mm.
Did it piss you off when 50 Cent changed the theme song and let Trey sing?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
People,
it
yeah, people killed him
Yeah, I
over
was
that.
like, when I listened to it, because when they were starting it off, and then it came on with a different tune, I'm like, what the hell is this? What's going on? I
He did
checked my
that.
remote. I was
He
like,
did that.
am I on the right?
He did that for 3 episodes, and then he stopped that thing flat.
It was actually after the second episode that premiered, because people were like making a real big deal about it. Like I was like, yeah, like change that back. Like who told you to change that in the first place?
If I was Joe, I would have been mad, boy. Come on, man. You hurt my money. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah,
That
right.
was the worst ever. I was just like, it
I'm
was
a
all.
I'm a Trey Songz fan, but
Nah, that wasn't the one.
that Joe laid that down. That song
Yes.
that gives me hype. Just like when I'm watching Undisputed and I hear Little Wayne come on there, that gives me hype for the show.
That's what I said. Power has one of the most iconic theme songs.
Yep.
Period. Definitely top 5.
That
Definitely up.
Sons of Anarchy, I love it, man.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. I got the Sons of Anarchy theme. I have the original Power theme because I'm like listening to it. I'm like, oh man, I thought it was a glitch. I thought maybe it
Yeah.
was just an opener, and they ran with it with the title screen. I go, no, man,
These
no,
ones
I
y'all
can't
ever
even get
watch?
excited.
You know, you ever watch True Blood?
Yeah, I stopped watching True Blood after what's this? Snooki turned into a fairy. I was like,
Man,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
done.
Man, that man, I can remember that right now, boy.
like it was funny because in the book it kind of alluded to that, but I don't know why in the book seemed like it executed it better.
Hey, you
Like
said
what?
that Game of Thrones ended bad. True Blood
Yes.
ended. True Blood. Oh my God, I was mad at that ending.
Dude, that ending was so bad, but still, the two I gotta say, this ending will probably not disappoint me, and I haven't seen it yet, but I'm just gonna say the two worst endings for me ever in television, ever, is Dexter and Game of Thrones. And I thought nothing was
Yeah.
gonna beat Dexter because that
That
ending was
was kind
quite
of bad.
horrendous. But then Game of Thrones came out, and I was like, oh, we have a winner. So those are probably the worst two endings I'm just gonna say in television history.
Hey, have y'all seen the new Dracula on Netflix?
No, I'm
Not
about to watch
yet.
that.
Hey, check it out. It's 3 episodes, man. Only 3, but man, they are awesome. Check it out.
That's what I hear. A lot of people is telling me
Yeah.
it's like a sleeper.
It's
So that's
like an
why
hour and 30, 40 minutes each episode. But man, they are good.
it'd be interesting. I can't.
Check it out.
Yeah, I got
it is a sleeper show on Netflix this season.
Yeah, I trust Courtney Kemp to give us a solid ending. You know, regardless of how some people have kind of fallen off with the show, or just not excited. And I can understand both sides of it. I can understand people that are.
Too much time. They had too much. I wouldn't let too much time pass from the last episode to the last week's episode. Kind of lost. I was like, man, I really want to watch this. But then once I saw Drake that what he deserved, that kind of reignited me. But I was losing a little bit of interest there, so I think she let too much time pass. But now I'm back excited. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have kept that momentum for me. A lot of it is timing, like which shows, especially like this, and especially when you are teasing the final season. And she's not the only show to do this. A lot do this now. Is like when you let that gap go, new shows come out. People, you know, their interest away, and then yeah, and especially nowadays, like the marketplace is so flooded with different options.
Yes.
Like, you can't
You go
if you're
strike when it's hot.
yeah, you got to keep going. Like I'm waiting on the boys to come back. I can't wait for that. Perp,
Oh
I know
yeah.
how you
Oh
feel
my
about
lord. I'm waiting for that too, man. Boy, the boys is off.
that. But that season final, I was just like, whoo, I can't wait. So it'll be intriguing. But my
You know
final
that
thoughts are,
you know that guy look like Snake Eyes. That's the clone, right? You know that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, I can't wait till they reveal that.
Oh well, I know who the clone is because I've read the comics unless they deviate from it. But
Yeah. I think
I already know who's underneath.
his name Black Menoir or something like that.
What's that?
Isn't his name like Black Menoir or something like that?
Yeah, Black Noir.
Black Noir, yeah. Okay.
But I'm hoping that it stays the same as to who was really under there because I think a lot of people would be shocked. It'd be interesting. But
Yep.
but anyways, I'm gonna say I'm kind of with Perp, not as low, but I'd say like a 6.5 for me. I liked it story wise. Like you said, I like the perspectives that they're shooting it from, and I do like that I gained some knowledge. I gotta say that I wouldn't put it on the level of Last Jedi. The story still flows, like it still all connects to where were in that one particular episode. So I like that the episodes are doing that, and it was a little bit slow. And I'm saying like these last 3 episodes, they need to like all be fast paced, and a lot more people need to die because we need to start off in some characters here. It's like we have way too many people living, and you know.
I mean, who y'all want to kill? It's only like the core group.
Kill everybody besides Ghost and Tommy, and let them duke it out.
I'll be fine with that. Like have Tommy and Ghost just ride off in the sunset.
Give the fans what they want. Give the fans what they want.
Because I'd be cool with that if like Tommy and Ghost were just like, you know.
I don't think fans hate Tasha though. Fans hate Tyreek.
Yeah, she's got a surprising little base. Tasha does. I never liked her since season 1.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it, to be honest.
Like
most of the female characters like her because they say she's a woman. And
yeah, sometimes
most of the guys that like her, they see her at Saw good eye candy.
Yeah, like sometimes like Tasha, like I'll be like, yeah, I'll give her like a little clap and stuff, and then she'll do something the next episode. It's just like, all right, I don't like you no more. Then like it's so mixed with me and with Tasha and stuff, but
she dirty now. She slept with Sean. That was dirty.
Yeah, I was like, you expect Ghost to be loyal to you? Like you
that was dirty,
right?
Another thing with the guy in the doggone daycare, so she got a little dirt too.
Oh my god! I'm just hoping don't let the shooter be Q, because I know he's supposed to pop up probably in like the last episode, but
who?
The dude Q, the Tasha's little boyfriend.
Oh yeah, no.
No, that'd be weak if they did that. That'd
be disrespectful.
But yeah, so I think this is a good point to start wrapping it up. So I'm gonna go down the line. Y'all tell people what you got going on, and then we can get everybody away because I'm sure the next episode we're gonna have so much stuff to talk about because it is the Tommy episode. I'm planning at least 4 hours because that's my boy.
They're really milking the shit out of these episodes because the last episode, I think, after episode 14, I think they're taking like a week off. I guess because the Oscars, but like the last episode is gonna be.
No one cares about the raggedy ass Oscars. They can't even.
Or no. I think it'd be the Super Bowl. So I don't know, but I know the last episode comes out in February. I was thinking it's going to come out in January, but
yeah, the Super Bowl is the first Sunday of the month.
It should be interesting.
My name is Danny Real. Go ahead and start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Go.
My name's Danny. My channel is Comic Chat. on YouTube. You can reach me on Twitter by Comic Chats with an S. I mainly cover mainly comic books, any kind of Marvel, DC, Star Wars movie. Um, I I want to thank Perp and Zod for inviting me. I was telling Zod earlier that I'm several people at my job that watch Power, but one in this format. I'm glad I found you two guys. I enjoyed it. Thanks for the invite. Um, the chance tomorrow, I'm doing this interest you. I'm doing the top 8 live action Superman movies ranked from worst to best at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I live on the east side of the country. So if you're not doing anything, please pop in at 9 o'clock. Be entertaining. You may like. I think we have some of the same people in the community. Mama Bear, um, Chris Knight, Sean Stackhouse, Board. Those men who I hang out with. But again, thank you again for inviting me. I definitely appreciate it.
No problem. And one day I look forward to having a comic book discussion because I am actually, if you couldn't tell, a huge DC fan. So I would like to see.
Well, if you can see my
on
wall, I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan.
Nice.
We're already friends. As soon as I saw that, I was like, we were already friends.
The biggest argument me and Sean got is I believe Goku could beat Superman, but he don't believe that. So that's been our ongoing argument for the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Goku is a god now, but Superman was already a god, so I don't know. There's a lot of factors.
Have you seen Dragon Ball Super yet?
I've seen episodes here and there.
Okay, he's achieved what they call Ultra Instinct. Watch the episode. He achieves that. Superman cannot touch him in that form.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I already don't have love for Superman. My
he broke your neck. That's why. He broke your neck. That's why.
He's overrated. Zod should have won several times. I've been gypped. I can't stand that overrated goody two shoes. Anyway, we've got the Perp Man, Perp Minded, always coming out with videos. What 8 videos are you coming out with this week? I know you got at least 5 planned.
Well, right now I got my power reviews up. You know I came in late. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I was just fucking tired. I was tired as hell. I almost didn't make it. I was just like, oh shit. I woke up. I was like, damn, I'm an hour late. I put my head back down. I was like, man, I gotta get up. I gotta make it. But yeah, I got a review on Power. This episode of Power, you can definitely go check that out. I also have a Shameless season 10, episode 10 review up. I plan on watching The Outsider on HBO. Don't know if I want to review it yet. Depending on how these first 2 episodes play out, and if I'm feeling it, I might review it. Might drop some random videos sometime this week, whatever, if any news breaks, or or I just might take some time off. I don't know until next week. But yeah, it was dope. Talking to y'all about this episode. It's dope to have you in here, Danny. Because I know you was reaching out to me. You reached out to me on your live stream, and you wanted to talk about Power, and I was like, hey, why don't you come on to this live stream, because we already kind of started this. Me and Zod already kind of started doing this, so this kind of works out. Now we have 3 different perspectives, so we have like a really nice conversation going about the episode and go more in depth and stuff. And because there would be a lot that goes on in these episodes. It's hard to break down in your own kind of review and whatnot. But I had fun. This was dope.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate having you guys. I think that it's good. I like doing these live streams. I know there's hella people live streaming right now, but I gotta say, like our first review that just me and Perp did had some pretty good views on it. So I'll probably have people coming back through later and watching it. And I think it's cool to get different perspectives because we can all catch things that maybe, you know, that one person will miss, someone else could catch something else. And then that does help shape your overall review. You know, when it's just you have your own biases and you know you have your own nitpicks, and it was good getting you Danny on here because you had me looking at stuff where I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that angle, and it does help, you know, to make an informed thing because at the end of the day we're chit chatting, so when people see this they can maybe catch some things that they weren't watching before.
Yes, sir.
So you know, so this has been General Zod's Phantom Zone. Thank you everybody for popping by. I've got some videos coming out. I didn't do anything this weekend because my daughter was sick, and so the future.
Hope she gets better.
Yeah, I had to take care of her, and she kept me up yesterday until like 7 a.m.
Yeah, the flu is going around big time where I'm at.
Oh, it was terrible, but I got my reviews finally. The videos are done. I just got to post them. I got one coming out for Like a Boss, which was like trash.
I could have told you that.
You know me, I see everything. So it wasn't trash how I thought it was. Like I thought it was going to be female driven. It had a good message. The comedy just sucked, which is ironic for a comedy movie. So I think like if they didn't make it a comedy and made it more of a drama, it would have been a lot better.
Bruh, Tiffany Haddish is in it. She's not funny.
She's funny, but she's kind of like Kevin Hart funny.
Yeah, she just plays one role. She likes playing those mammy roles.
Yeah, she was all right. And
she was funny
she
in
was actually,
I think it was Girls Trip or Girls when they was in Las Vegas. I think it was her, Jada Pinkett, and
Girls Night Out or something.
Yeah, she's pretty funny in that. But
this movie just failed spectacularly on a lot of different levels. So I got that review and my actual surprise horror movie that just shocked me, Underwater. That movie was so good. I was so shocked it was a January movie. Like that movie did not fuck around. Like as soon as you sat down in the theater, that thing was just intense from beginning to end. That girl was having anxiety when she was watching with me. My favorite movie of all time is Alien, the original. Anyone who's been on my channel, I had like an Alien watch party with Chris Knight and Mary Mayhem and all them, and because Mary had never seen it before. So it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and this movie is a lot like that. So I'm looking forward to putting that review out. It was like Alien underwater. It was like surprisingly good, and I hate the freaking Disney merger because I felt like they didn't care about this movie and they just released it in January thinking it was garbage, and it's actually doing pretty decent in the box office too. So I'm definitely going to put that review out, and hopefully more people go see that because that was a good movie. And I got one coming out on 1917 that I'll be dropping soon. And what was the other movie that came out? There was another one that me and my girl want to see. I've seen like 4 movies in a row because I work at the theater, so I got a bunch of them. And then I'm going to do a review on Justified. So all that coming up. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And you know, as always, remember there's only one rule here in the Fandom Zone. Kneel before Jim goes out.
You don't have to. You really don't have to.